INFJ, my friend, tell me the truth. How many times have you felt like an alien in a world obsessed with shallow chatter? How many times have you swallowed the truth in your throat because you knew the room wasn't ready for it? People call you too deep, too intense, too sensitive, like it's some kind of flaw. Hell, they make it sound like you're broken. But let's be real, if the world feels too shallow for you, maybe it's not you that's broken. Maybe it's the world that's starving. You are not fragile, you're forged. You are the paradox, the bridge between contradictions, both warrior and healer, both dreamer and realist, both flame and water. And that's what this conversation is about. The weird, sacred, often misunderstood traits of your INFJ self, the ones that make you feel like you don't belong, when in reality they're your soul's fingerprints. Stay with me. Because by the end, I want you to see yourself not as too much or too strange, but as exactly what you were meant to be. And before we dive in, drop a comment if any of this already hits home. I read every single one, and I love connecting with INFJs who finally feel seen. This space is for you. 1. The rare paradox. Unpacking the INFJ mind. The INFJ is a living paradox. You don't walk in straight lines, you move in spirals and echoes and undercurrents that most people will never see. You crave connection like your lungs crave air, but damn, you also need solitude like your heart needs rest. Too much of one and you're starving, too much of the other and you're suffocating. It's a constant dance between presence and retreat, love and distance. You love people with a depth that feels bottomless. You see their wounds before they speak them, their potential before they believe it. But the flip side? You can't stand shallow performance or fake smiles. You sniff out bullshit like smoke in a forest, instantly, instinctively, without trying. Empathetic to the bone, yes, but cross your core values and you transform. People mistake your softness for weakness until they see how ruthless you can be when protecting your boundaries, your soul, or the people you love. The same heart that carries oceans of compassion can also sharpen into a blade when truth demands it. And that's the paradox, isn't it? You're not one thing. You're not meant to fit neatly into introvert or extrovert, dreamer or realist, healer or warrior. You are all of them. You are the contradiction that holds itself together. No wonder people don't get you. You're not built to fit into easy categories. You're built to bend them, break them, and rebuild something entirely new. Think about it. How many times have you sat in a room, smiling politely, while your inner monologue was galaxies deeper than the small talk spilling out around you? On the surface, you look calm, quiet, maybe even reserved, but inside you're dissecting energy shifts, tracing invisible threads between words, noticing the tension in someone's jaw when they force a laugh. You're the quiet storm, the riddle people can't solve, the paradox that people can't box in. And that's what makes you unforgettable, even when you try to disappear. My INFJ friend, when was the last time someone mistook your silence for weakness? Only to be stunned when you finally spoke and dropped a truth they weren't ready for? 2. The INFJ brain, a neuroscientific deep dive. Here's some real talk. Your brain doesn't operate like most. You're not just thinking differently, you're wired differently. Neuroscience shows INFJs lean heavily on introverted intuition, that rare and almost mystical process that connects invisible threads before anyone else even notices they exist. Most people need evidence to believe. You believe before the evidence shows up, and then, almost annoyingly, it proves you right. It's not guessing, it's not luck. It's as if your subconscious is a quantum computer running billions of simulations in the background, downloading patterns and truths straight from the ether while the rest of the world is still fumbling with instructions. That's why you don't just see what's happening, you sense what's about to happen. You notice the storm before it forms, the betrayal before it's spoken, the ending before the first cracks even show. Your mind is a time traveler, fast-forwarding to outcomes that haven't unfolded yet, then quietly dropping breadcrumbs back into the present moment. But here's the paradox, it's both a gift and a curse. Being wired like this makes you visionary, yes, but also exhausted. Because how the hell do you explain a gut feeling that turns out right every single time? How do you tell someone, I just know, without sounding arrogant, paranoid, or mystical? You've probably swallowed more truths than most people ever dare to face, simply because you didn't want to explain the unexplainable. And yet, you carry it. You keep decoding, keep predicting, keep holding wisdom that doesn't belong to any textbook. Your brain is an oracle, and sometimes even you can't believe how much it gets right. 3. The emotional sponge. Understanding INFJ empathy and sensitivity. Here's where it gets heavy because, let's be honest, INFJs don't just understand emotions, they absorb them. You're the sponge in floodwater, soaking up everyone's joy, grief, rage, heartbreak, and even the emotions they don't admit to themselves. You don't just read the room, you become the room. And sometimes it feels like you're drowning in feelings that aren't even yours. Like you're walking through the world carrying a backpack full of invisible stones, each one handed to you by someone else who couldn't carry their own. That's why INFJs need boundaries. Not because you don't care, but because you care too damn much. But here's the thing the world doesn't see. They see your kindness, your listening ear, your open heart. They see how you show up for others, no matter what. What they don't see is you lying awake at night, heart racing with emotions that don't belong to you, carrying wounds you never asked for, replaying conversations that ripped your soul wide open. It's beautiful, the sensitivity of yours. It makes you healer, lover, harmonizer, truth teller. But it's brutal too, because who heals the healer when they're cracked open by everyone else's storm? And here's the raw truth. My INFJ friend, that storm inside isn't always other people's. Sometimes the loudest thunder is your own inner critic, that nagging little voice that tells you you're not enough, that you're failing, that you'll never measure up. That voice that drags you down when you're already carrying the weight of everyone else's shadows. That's why I wrote my book, Get Out of Your Head, because I know what it's like to be devoured by that voice, to mistake its cruelty for truth. This book dives deep into the inner critic, why it holds so much power, how it feeds on fear, self-limiting beliefs, and low self-esteem. And more importantly, how to silence it so you can finally breathe, set boundaries, and step into a life that belongs to you. If you've ever felt like emotions, yours or others, were swallowing your sun, this book is your lifeline. It's available in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook. Get your copy now. The link is in the description below. 4. The Power of Quiet, An Introvert's Guide to Energy. INFJ quiet is not emptiness, it's a cathedral. Your silence is not a void, it's a sanctuary. To others, stillness looks like nothing is happening. To you, it's where everything is happening. Silence, for you, is an absence, it's restoration. It's like plugging your soul into the divine socket of the universe. Every moment you spend in solitude, your spirit recharges, not just with energy, but with insight. You return from the stillness armed with clarity, wisdom, vision. And here's the kicker, that's not weakness, it's your weapon. But damn, isn't it exhausting explaining this to people? Why parties drain you like a leaky faucet? Why small talk feels like chewing on cardboard, dry, tasteless, and leaving you hungry for something real? Why solitude feels like coming home in a world that tells you constant connection is the only way to be alive? The truth is, your social battery isn't small, it's sacred. You don't just hand it over to anyone. You're not built to waste your fire on meaningless noise. You're built to burn for depth, for truth, for the conversations that strip away masks and reveal souls. That's why people mistake your quiet for being shy, aloof, or even cold. But you and I both know that's bullshit. Your quiet is not absence, it's alchemy. It's where you process, where you transform, where you tap into that rare vision of yours that others can't see. And in a loud world that worships the spotlight, your refusal to perform endlessly isn't a flaw, it's rebellion. It's choosing to honor your own rhythms over everyone else's expectations. That's power, that's sovereignty. That's INFJ energy at its purest. My INFJ friend, what do you do in your sacred silence that no one else knows about? What secret rituals of restoration keep your inner cathedral alive? 5. The Harmonizer. How INFJs balance logic and emotion. You're not just a feeler, you're a strategist of the heart. Where others see a battlefield of contradictions, you see a symphony waiting to be conducted. INFJs hold this uncanny ability. You can blend logic with compassion, intuition with reason, love with truth. You see both sides of the story, not because you're indecisive, but because you understand. You hear the pain behind someone's anger, the fear behind their silence, the longing behind their cruelty. You decode people not to excuse them, but to truly see them. And then comes the sacred choice. Do you offer grace, or do you draw the line? Do you lean into forgiveness, or do you protect your peace? That's the tightrope you walk daily, the razor's edge between empathy and self-preservation. Let's be real, that's not easy. Because your heart is wired to heal, to soothe, to pour out, but your spirit knows that pouring endlessly leaves you empty, and your soul whispers, not everyone deserves your fire. That's the infj gift, balancing the head and the heart, the dream and the reality, the love and the boundaries. You are the healer and the protector, the open hand and the closed gate. You are the harmonizer of paradox. It's why people come to you with their secrets, their grief, their unspeakable truths, because you can hold space without judgment. But it's also why you're exhausted, because few ever ask how you're doing in return. Your gift is profound, but it's also heavy. The challenge is remembering that you deserve the same balance you offer others. Compassion is divine, yes, but so is self-respect. INFJ, you are not an accident, you are not too much. You are not too quiet, you are not too intense. You are exactly what you were meant to be, the paradox, the healer, the quiet storm that walks through this noisy world with ancient eyes. Every weird trait we've uncovered here, your intuition, your empathy, your silence, your balance, isn't baggage. It's blueprint, it's the architecture of your soul. And the world needs it, even when it doesn't understand it. So let me say this straight, stop apologizing for your depth. Stop shrinking so others can feel tall. Stop treating your sacred wiring like it's a flaw. You were built this way for a reason, and hell, that reason is bigger than you know. Now, I want to hear your truth. My INFJ friend, which part of this spoke to you the loudest? Drop your story in the comments. I promise I'll read it, and I'd love to reply. Because this isn't just a video, it's a circle, a gathering of souls who get it. And if this cracks something open for you, subscribe. Share it with another INFJ who needs to remember that their quiet fire isn't weakness, it's power. Never forget this. You are rare, but you are not alone. Your depth is not a burden. It's a beacon. And the world is waiting for your light. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more INFJ content that doesn't just skim the surface, but dives into your depths. Share this with another INFJ who needs the reminder, you're not too much. You're exactly enough.